Welcome to Divinity 648. My name is Christina. I'm a high vibrational energy intuitive. This is morning messages for January the 19th, 2022. It is now 6:49 in the morning. So a lot of clarity, definitely collectively a shift into a different, the energy shifted. So that way we are slightly more elevated, right? We're in that 5.7 type of vibrations, right? So we vibrate on the fifth dimension, but we're actually vibrating a little bit higher. And it might just be me or all high vibrationals if you know what I'm talking about. But you're naturally flowing at the present state on a higher, not so much. See, we call things so many things, and it frustrates me because we'll say dimension and vibration. So there's dimensions, but there's vibrations within the dimension, right? So we all are on the fifth dimension, no longer messing around with the third dimension. But we have levels or layers, or the waves are just higher for some in this dimension, which kind of allows us to gain certain clarity or work with certain vibrations that give us a better understanding or a clearer perspective. A lot of individuals are going to wake up this morning with that ascension, with that layer of clarity, with that, oh my God, I will, like, okay, thank you. I can share something with you. So, a while ago, date doesn't matter. I went to bed like a normal night and astral traveled. And when I got to where I was going, it was almost like, you know how we have subways and we come up the stairs to get to street level. So the stairs were stone. It was literally just stone, like the wall was stone and the stairs were stone. There was no railing, it was just one walkway. And it almost felt like real stone, like as if it was carved out of the core of the ground, not placed there. And it was gray, completely gray, which is why gray is such a significant color physically here for me at least. You know, it allows us to see things off of it, meaning darkness and people's various colors of their aura. So I make it to the top, just like somebody would here at a subway. And there was a gentleman waiting for me, but he was in a wheelchair and he had glasses. He was from my mother's side of the family. Um, and he don't know him, still can't remember our relationship. But he said he was sent there to pick me up. So I started pushing the wheelchair for him. I had no luggage, I had nothing. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how far do we have to walk? Never did I ever open my mouth to communicate, not once. It was all through thought, power of intention. And he informed me that it's not like down there. Well, he said over there in Spanish. He didn't say down there. He said over there in Spanish. He said, watch, just push the chair. And I started pushing the chair. And just the same as you put mental thought to start walking and your body starts walking, we put mental thought to get to my grandmother's house. And it was almost like fast forward. You just like feel, you know, like the acceleration. You stop walking, you're still, and you just accelerate to where you need to be. You know, the way you get in a car and push the gas pedal and you just take off. The power of intention is what drives you. It's what gets you where you need to be. It's what does what needs to be done. Things just happen. You open the fridge, the food's just there, you know, which is so relevant now because my daughter's the craziest, pickiest eater all of a sudden. And that was a trigger for me to remember what it was like over there. So now I understand she's going through some process of ascension. So we just fast forwarded there. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm okay if I let go of this wheelchair. I'll still be in the same motion. And I remember thinking to, obviously, he's telling me this because I wasn't having verbal. And I remember thinking to myself and understanding the way that things process differently, right? It's no negativity, unconditional love. It's everything that we have here without it being work, without it being toxic. So we get to my grandma's house, and instantly I'm opening the door and walking right in, and my aunt Martha was there, my uncle Eddie was there, my uncle Frankie was there. Food was already cooking on the stove. It was a full-size kitchen, a regular kitchen table. I remember, being allowed to walk through and, get comfortable. And I ended up in my grandmother's room, and she had the nightstand with a lamp, her bed, um, and then at the foot of her bed, but to the side of her bed, was a mirrored armoire. And I just remember staring at it like in amazement that they have regular bedrooms like we do. And while I was looking at the mirrored armoire, I could see my grandmother's reflection straight through. And of course, we sat down and had our one on one talk on her bed, which is private. Um, but my point to saying this is, you know, we think death is everything that it's not. We continue to live and have what we need without sacrifice, without pain, without suffering. When we say we want heaven on earth, we mean, can we please get rid of the witchcraft? Can we please get rid of the deceit? Can we please get rid of the toxicity, the competitive drives, money, the greed that is associated with money? Because over there's no money. You need food, you open your fridge, whatever the heck you want it's all about intention. It's about power of thought. It's say it is so and so it is done kind of energy. And over here it's different because we were so wrapped up around the third dimension, excuse me, that we got lost in spirituality because with spiritual, God, I don't want to go too deep. So here it's just different, right? Here we actually get in cars and we do what we got to do because we have physical bodies that weigh us down and limit us from the things that we want, right? It's that you have to remember here in physical realm, the physical world, we have the same, a similar life cycle to the caterpillar. You know, caterpillars are limited to their peripheral view. They're limited to the things that they can see and experience because of their size and the way of their life cycle. But when they pass on and become butterflies, they're not so limited, right? They can fly around. It's like the complete opposite. It literally is the opposite, where they have to crawl at a slow pace to get everywhere they want to get. As a butterfly, they just fly, and they can see and reach places that they would take so much longer to get to or need so much more resources to accomplish if they were still in the form of a caterpillar. So for us, when we pass over, what we're doing is we're releasing that physical body and allowing ourselves to just be that energy, that light, that, that winged, we don't really have wings, but that lightless, the lightlessness. I can't, I'm trying to use regular words for the way that it feels and the way that I've seen it. So we still have family. We still visit family. We still cook meals. We still um, have places like cities and towns, and we're still our true natural self, minus the toxicity, minus the harshness, minus the need to hurt, harm, have one over, be superior. All of that stuff is physical realm stuff, right? It's low vibrational, okay? And the reason why the collective, Travel. When I say they, I mean all gods and goddesses, all of them, the divine. They removed the third dimension because as we grow, we don't just grow physically. We're doing spiritual, energetic, emotional, um, and we do it ascension wise too, right? Like as a collective planet, this planet ascends as well. It grows. And the more that it grows, the whatever, it doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant to what this morning message is. Someone out there, a lot of people are going through this transformation and awakening and losing loved ones very close to them, regardless of the reason why. But it's the trigger, right? Like that movie Infinity with Mark Wahlberg. God, I freaking love that movie and the way that they portray the fact that it takes a serious hardship or a triggered moment for you to go through ascension. And then when you finally get to become a high vibrational, instead of having trauma in your life to trigger you to ascend even more, no trauma is necessary. You just continue to ascend. And that's that heaven on earth feeling because it's like you stay in your lane. You don't have the need to deal with toxicity. You avoid those kind of people altogether. You do naturally, you have morals. Naturally, you have a stronger set of ethics. Naturally, you try to avoid anything that is out of alignment with the scales of justice. And the thing that's crazy is, like I said, right over there, it's just like here, except there's no physicalness. It's all the way that we see things here. You still touch it, you still sit down, you still have furniture. When they sleep, they astral travel, they visit. That's just why the nighttime is so significant for us. It really is the same. It's the dream state is that astral state. It's that outer spaceness, kind of. It's like you can travel through outer space like an endless highway. Well, astral or sleep state is traveling on an endless highway. You can go anywhere, you could do anything, you could project yourself in all kinds of ways. But of course, you do the same thing you would do on a highway, right? You make sure there's gas in the car, you make sure you wear your seatbelt, you make sure you know where you want to go. You're always protected because we pray to our whoever we pray to. And we don't drive recklessly, right? We avoid other cars, we avoid crashing into things. There's rules of the road. Well, there's rules of astral, just the same. Um, more and more people are awakening to understanding this. So, morning messages was meant for me to discuss this. So, whoever is starting to awaken or go through certain things and they have a lot of questions. And the point of this episode or this morning message was to kind of give you some clarity. Because those were specific questions that were asked specifically by a very high number of individuals. So, morning messages was a refresher on what I've already experienced and clarity, right? The other half, I'm not sure I was supposed to share with you, but I'm going to again anyway. So, a few months ago, I went to Rhode Island to pick up my daughter, and I needed an in between buffer time to give me time to calm down because she was where she didn't have permission to be. Not so much the location or what she was doing, but with the person she was doing it with. Okay, that was the problem. Um, just like people go and get tarot readings and stuff on individuals, they do that to us. And when they find out who we are, because who I am carries down to who I give birth to. Um, so they get readings on us, and right away their eyes get big, or the endless possibilities, or the comfortness, and all this otherness comes, like the love of, money and evil and greed, and I'll never need to want, or I'll never need this. It's like having your personal fucking genie, but that comes with time and experience, right? just like everybody else, you have to grow into who you are. Um, so I'm very protective of her. So I needed a buffer time. And I ended up going to 21 Division Botanica in Providence, and I sat down with this guy and this translator, and because my Spanish is a mixture of a few different Spanishes, and people look at me weird when I talk. So I try to avoid it because it's not the average slang, and it's not just one's. I mean, I found the name of this Spanish, but it's so old that it doesn't make sense. So I don't even try. Um, and this translator was there, and she was talking to him and me, and I was responding to him, and um, he ended up looking at me and looking off to the side to me, and I remember laughing because my aunt Marta was on the side of me, who physically was alive here and passed when I was very little, or probably before I was born, possibly. But my family never talks about her. So my relationship with her is strictly what I've experienced with her, and I know nothing about the physical realm of how she conducted herself. So Marta was on the side of me, and this is my aunt, a real aunt who was really born and was my mother's sister. And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God, you have Santa Marta on the side of you." He goes, "You are the daughter of Mysterious." And I smiled at him and I said, "Oh yeah, my kids too." And as I'm saying my kids too, he goes, "Your daughter," because that's who we were discussing in a session. "She is too." And I said, "Any child I give birth to is going to be exactly who I am. They will awaken and grow into it the same way I was born, awakened at birth, and grew into who I am." But my aunt Marta is for me as a real person, and he kept looking at her like the saint. And it didn't dawn on me until after I walked out of there what he was saying to me. And he was the only one who ever really got to say that. He was the only one who ever got to see through everything. You know, I tried going to the Catholic Church and I just couldn't sit still in there. You know, and I didn't know if it was because my children just couldn't be in there. We were always in the noise room. And for me, it's like, why is there a fucking noise room in the church? Like, I get it, but I don't get it, right? Because you're in a place of holiness, a place of whatever else you want to associate it with. Why is there a box for quietness? The vibration of a child is so powerful. It illuminates the room. And the louder they are, the higher the vibration. You know, I go into the spiritualist church and they embraced my children in their craziness. You know, my baby, my son was still a baby. And they embraced that. And they didn't care if the kids were loud. They just talked louder. Um, and then I realized, you know, just how beautiful and pure a child's soul is, and how it's sacred because it's still innocent. And that's the very core of every spiritual faith, is the innocence. The goal is to undo the fuckery and the damage that society has bestowed upon us based off of greed and their separate individual intentions, low vibrational shit, and restore the innocence, the purity, the unconditional love, the endless mind state that we have as a child, right? Our imagination is beyond anything that adults can comprehend anymore. And it's like, did you forget you were once a child? So the awakening and the spiritual unfoldment is no different than that rose that blossoms and unfolds. It's that, let me undo everything that is done. It's let me restore myself to my natural state, um, and unplug from the world, you know. And it's that people go into meditation to unplug from the world so they can get back in tune with their true core authentic self, which is most heightened and most highlighted before they are tainted and affected by the actions and lack of actions from others. It's before the external influences taint or affect a child's and their natural essence. So I guess I needed to say this because some others are questioning the unfoldment and what this all means and why am I going through this? And, you know, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's helping you to refine who you are, right? Um, I no longer wanted karmic lessons, but I still got one more. And it was what I needed to push me through the state of vulnerability, you know. And that vulnerable state is done for me because I'm done being vulnerable, right? And I mentioned that in the previous episode where I said the lion walked through the gates and there's three sets of energy. Three is a very, very powerful number. Um, you walk through the gates and there was three sets of energy, and that was, it's 21 minutes and 3 seconds into this episode. Three sets of energy, and it was some are in admiration, some are in shock like deer with headlights, and others are fleeing from you, like for everything wrong that they've done or everything that they embody, you know. And now that I look back at that, that is that it's that hear no evil, speak no evil, um, see no evil. And the ones that flee spoke evil, saw evil, and heard evil. Okay? The ones that sit there in admiration never saw the evil. The ones that sit there in just shock never spoke the evil. Okay? You're going to know who you allow to stay in your life, and you're going to know who you allow to really be released from your space. It's that I no longer have a desire to entertain you, but I don't want to hurt you. So over a period of time, you slowly just detach from them. No, I'm sorry. I've got something I'm working on. I'm going to be in the house. You know, and then eventually you're just like, no, I can't. No explanation needed. Like, I don't need to explain to you. You don't own me. If I say no, it's fucking no, and that's the end of this conversation. No. Do you want to go to the beach? No. No explanation needed. I don't need to explain myself to you. You just need to know, thank you. I appreciate the invitation, but the answer is still no. No is going to be a part of your common core language. No. And a lot of you are in shock because it's like me, use the word no. Are you fucking nuts? Yeah, you're going to start saying no a lot. Spiritual solitude is going to be dominant too. This is that energy that I remembered being in when spiritual solitude would come in. And I would just kind of shut everything off and be to myself and clear my energy from everybody else's energy. Because you have to remember our energy, our aura is like a sponge. It really does absorb the energy all around us, like a sponge in a bowl of juice. When you put it on something white, all that juice is going to spill out. Every now and then you need spiritual solitude where you can cleanse, clear, and release your energy from other people. It's better if you can do it every night before you go to bed. You take a nice shower and you wash away the energies of the day. So that way you consistently maintain your energetic space. Spirit world is not physical. It's all about intention. It's about power of intent. You speak with the thought. The thought is what you use to manifest and create. You know, I wanted food. I missed my grandmother's cooking. That lady had food already cooking. When you walked in, you smelled it. You know, when my aunt opened up the fridge, whatever she wanted was in that fridge. But when my uncle opened the fridge, whatever he liked was in that fridge. It was about intent. So here in the physical, people need to start focusing on their intentions. Don't be blinded with the result and the glorifications that come from it. Be focused on your intentions. You want to be in alignment with the divine. You want to respect the morals, the values of the gods that govern your soul as you cross over into the spirit realm. You need to learn those principles of Mayat. Those principles are in every single man-made religion. Every man-made religion has those principles in it. Thou shalt not, thou shalt this. Core principles come from Mayat. That that ancient Egyptian, you notice how we don't go to Egypt and do all kinds of fuckery to seize the pharaoh's tomb, and we don't pull rank and go underneath that gigantic lioness and see what's underneath her. You notice how we have billions and billions of resources to drain oceans and dig for oil in oceans, but we don't dare go over to Egypt and blow that sand the fuck away from that giant cat to see what's underneath all of that. You notice how we don't try to drain Egypt physically? We respect Egypt because we fear Egypt, because we understand the power of their knowledge and their ancient historical ways, because we know that nothing that they present is false, because their gods actually demonstrate and put it there so you cannot misconstrue it. You can, I mean, yeah, you can lie about its interpretations, or you can make educated or uneducated guesses, but even your educated guesses are not 100% valid. I've watched some documentaries on the pharaohs and the tombs and all that stuff, and the way that they were reading things, and I was just like, really, that's what you got from that? Because I get something completely different, and I'm not even trying. So sometimes that stuff would just mess with my head too when I watch that stuff and I listen to the explanations that they give, and it's just like, ooh, yeah, I can see where that came from, but you're not exactly right. Um, just stuff like that. And I'm saying this out loud because those of you who are vibing high, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, and you just needed to hear it from someone else, so you know you're not batshit crazy. I'm so excited because we're already going into February, and then pretty soon we'll be going into July. And the power of the seventh month is so significant, because, again, that's a powerful energy, it's a powerful number. And if you ever look at a calendar year using the German calendar and you highlight the cycles, the 4 cycles of the moon, and you look at the way that the months end, you'll see that always around July, June, July, there's always like an extension or two moon cycles in one month, because of the way it doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant right now. But you're just going to notice, you're going to notice a lot of significance around the multiples of threes and the number seven. So, morning messages is for those of you who are vibing high, and I mean like really vibing high, not just desiring it, but actually following core principles and doing what you got to do and working on self just as much as you work in the physical realm, right? Maintaining the balance. You have to maintain balance or you will get your ass handed to you over and over and over again. You'll understand what I'm saying. You'll understand the significance behind taking care of your energy, not allowing people to use you as their physical outlet, on their own toxicity, um, because that is warfare right there. It is darkness trying to overpower and overcome the light, and the light cannot tolerate that. The light shines through the darkness. That's why, I go to a job and there's always that one fucking person who has to fuck with me, who has to compete with me, who has to outshine me. And it's just like, I'm in my own lane minding my business and you're coming for me, and it never fails. It never ever freaking fails. There's always that one person no matter where I go. And and I never understood why, but now I do, obviously, right? It's that spiritual warfare. It's that low vibe person. It's that low vibe energy that is able to influence, because we all get influenced by something. 33. So 30 minutes, 30 seconds was just on the clock into this episode. So I need to wrap this up. So the bottom line is you're going to go through various things, and you just need to stand your ground. You need to be that lioness who's walking through those gates and owning your space. You cannot allow any low vibrational energy to be dominant in your emotional state or in your mental state, because those are the most important states, which is why narcissistic fucks play with you mentally and emotionally. That's that's a whole nother episode. So watch yourself and who you interact with. Stand your ground. Even if it's your boss, let me tell you, every boss has a boss. And if that's the boss that's being the worst, then you need to just find another career or find another job. And there's a difference between the two, because a job is this is what it is for the rest of your life, and a career is something you're passionate about, you don't mind going to, you can pour yourself into it, and there's always room for growth. Even if you've reached the highest possible position, there's still ways to grow, ways that you can influence or guide or help others in that organization or business. Growth is not just financial, growth is not just a title, growth is not just a role. Yeah, it's more than a role, right? It's being able to extend your knowledge. Growth is the knowledge that you have within that company that allows you to be an asset in the various departments, right? So even if you make it to the highest position possible, the growth is not limited there, because the highest position within a company requires you having knowledge and understanding in all of the departments within that company, right? So there's still always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. And that's where people's mindsets are primarily being driven towards. It's that growth, that improvement, that expansion energy is dominant this morning. So clarity is in the air, understanding's in the air, a lot of unfoldment is in the air. And yes, for those of you who are just awakening, you are going through a very painful situation, more than likely. 32 minutes, 32 seconds. I have to end this. 55 energy. So go through your transformation, go through your healing, allow yourself to grieve whatever it is that is going on within your life. Allow yourself to understand that things happen for you, not to you. You have the power of free will. You have intuition. Learn how to work with your intuition 30 minutes a day with your eyes closed to release yourself from the physical realm. Memory. Remember the memory game that we did as kids? Remember how innocent and pure being kids was? Go back to the memory game. Start challenging your intuition to put you on a certain card, right? Grab out a deck of playing cards or index cards. Write a star on one and different shapes on the other, and tell yourself, I always want to find the star. And start challenging your intuition to always put your hand on the right card. Get out somewhere that you've never been, read the instructions once, jump in the car, and trust your intuition to get you where you need to go without needing a real GPS. The power of intuition, your internal compass, your internal navigation through life, right? Um, Last year, 3355. I'm calling out these numbers because they're really powerful numbers. And each time I glance over or make a movement, I see them out the corner of my eyes or directly in my face. Um, I'm going to end this because I can go on and on and on and on and on and on, and it's getting late. So enjoy your day. And remember, all sessions are recorded for quality, liability, and promotional purposes, meaning I'm a high vibrational energy intuitive. Amazing things happen during our sessions, and I like to capture them I don't go back and ever read them unless I'm pulled to a certain recording to grab a clipping from, and it's always spiritually guided. And I always protect the identities of the individuals within that session unless they're willing to share. And most are, they want to send me the photos of their loved ones and say, hey, if you decide to share that, here's the photo of that person and us, or, or I'll just be communicating with them and I'll ask them directly. But I love to share that because a lot of individuals don't understand that when you come and work with Divinity 648, you're not going to a psychic, you're not going to just a medium, you're not going to someone who took 50 classes and got 70 certifications, because I've only taken one class. And it was like an angel card reading when I first started awakening back in like '06 area time frame. Somewhere around that point is that angel card reading class. Everything else is, you're born and you grow. You unfold, you grow into who you are. This is all spiritually guided growth, not so and so taught me this because they took 50 classes and taught themselves that. Everything I get from ancestors and my soul's tribe, my higher source, my every individual that has ever unfolded. Um, we're a part of whatever. That's a completely another conversation as well. So experiences will vary based on the individual. So you definitely want to drink water before, during, and after our session. You don't want to come in all skeptical. I mean, it's okay that you do. I'll still break through it one way or another. Um, but the experiences are never, ever, ever the same. The knowledge that comes through is never, ever, ever the same, or at least the same exact way. So if you want a copy of your session or anything like that, you could just email me, text me, or call me, and I'll tell you how to go about it. Booking is done primarily online, but I would like to switch to calling and texting, um, with the understanding that there's certain terms and conditions that must be adhered to. I am looking to see how I can detach from a physical website and kind of be more just a Google social interaction kind of deal. So bear with me while I am exploring ways to change my interaction with my clientele and the client base on the internet. So bear with the various changes because it's always guided through the energy and stuff like that. So I am on my own time. If I am late for a session, I apologize in advance, but that's the way it goes. I know I've been much better with that lately, but sometimes some clients need extra attention, and sometimes I'm the client and I just need some extra attention from myself. So, divinity648.com is where you could do your online scheduling. I am looking into the Google way of doing all the scheduling, so that will be changing as well. And if you don't like all of the technicality, which I do get a mixture of people who don't like the internet or any of that, you can text me or call me. I will weigh out your energy to see if you need my assistance in scheduling or if you are, in fact, capable of doing it yourself online. So please do not be that person, right? Please do due diligence before you result to the easy way. I do offer discounted rates for spiritual advancement and sessions for those who have financial hardship. Please don't try to take advantage of that. I always weigh out your scales before allowing you to have a discount. And I know when I'm being played, I know when I'm being manipulated. I know when someone's coming through and calling me just to try to read my energy. Please know I am very good at projecting certain energies and information that are not exactly relevant or in alignment with who I am in my current situation. So stop wasting your money and getting readings on me Because if you haven't noticed, when you come towards me, the things that you got read, the things you got from that reading, you're like, oh, why isn't that happening? Or I thought that was supposed to happen, but that doesn't happen. Yeah, no, no. There's a lot more to me than anyone will ever understand. So please stop wasting your money and your time. You have a question, you ask me directly and with respect.